Do I have your attention now?
Welcome everyone to your in-ring rundown. I am the NAKK Double G. It's really cold outside and I've got nobody to love, so I've decided to yell at this camera for a little while and see what happens instead. This week on Cena Ventura Pet Detective, Raw comes to us from Atlanta, Georgia. The city that was once home to the zombie-slaying man with anger issues. I think his name was Mick Slime or something like that. I don't know. Raw begins to us with a bang, with Roman Reigns starting us out, who hasn't been seen since his recent leukemia scare in October. And while I'm happy to have the big dog back and I'm glad he's okay, when you have an entrance that's about as long as the Undertaker, well, a normal Undertaker entrance, with absolutely no pyros or no druids, it's just fucking boring. Now, this is one of those feel-good segments that comes along every now and then on Raw, and there's not really too much to make fun of here. About the only joke I can make is that it literally took the jaws of death to make people like Roman, and he said the word y'all about 15 times in 5 minutes.
I missed y'all. I'm serious, I missed y'all. If there was a way to get to me, y'all figured out how to do it by y'all's love and y'all's grace. We did better than that, y'all. I'm in remission, y'all. Thank you so much, y'all. I love y'all.
The first actual match of the night begins with Alistair Black from Beautiful Joe coming out looking as brooding as ever, with Michael Cole reminding us just why he shouldn't have been allowed to speak during his entrance last week.
We'd like you to check out the man known as the Dutch Destroyer.
I thought it was the Dark Destroyer, Cole. I called you out, didn't I, bitch? Didn't I? Ricochet comes out to join him, revealing the coolest fucking laser show I've ever seen that's definitely going in my dream shower someday in life. But did you know that the Revival are the current Raw Tag Team Champions? No? Well, neither did I, because they get a fucking jobber entrance. Oh, don't worry though, here's a commercial break after nearly 3 minutes of broadcast. And we're back with these two main NXT call-ups now randomly put together against the Revival because who the fuck knows why, as Touchy-Feely does his best to contain his perverted ways. The Revival lose in about 4 minutes because, you know, these tag team champions are fucking stellar, to a black mass kick by Alistair Black. Please fire the writing staff, doo-dah, doo-dah. Let Vince go, he needs a bath, oh the doo-dah day. Charlie and Corbin are backstage together on their first date, but the waiter forgot their food, so they decide to do an interview instead, when Baron Corbin accidentally mistakes his timeline for that of Hulk Hogan.
What is it with you people? You always live in the past. Am I to be judged for the past? Look, I get it, you're desperate and all for a story, but I never said those things.
Shawn Michaels' ghost is sitting backstage against some fake-ass velvet rope as Snoop Dogg treats us to his personal celebration for Ric Flair getting nearly as jiggy as Big E, telling him to make sure to get here quickly tonight after the show for his monthly bong and orgy, also known as the Borgie. Elias is out here in the ring, here to play us all a nice little diddly, when he is immediately interrupted by the equivalent of Emelina in credibility. Dean Ambrose comes out shortly after, having recently divided his heel and face status by 0, as Renee does her best to contain her love for Lacey Evans, which I'm pretty sure is stronger than Ambrose at this point, because she gives about 7 compliments in 7 seconds. Dean is very upset though, demanding that he gets a rematch with Drew Got a Flat Tire, interrupting any chance that Elias will get to perform tonight. Also, the frickin' Sirens are back again. They were gone last week. Make up your damn mind. The Riot Squad appear right after, making sure that Elias gets no screen time, here to take on the combination of Natty Ponderosa and Ronda. I'm still not sure if she's attractive or not Rousey. This is a very important match because the Riot Squad has been a thorn in their side for months, and they definitely haven't just been useless roadblocks on the way that have gotten wrecked by each of them single-handedly. The ref, form of Curtis Axel, is moderating this match by shocking the world and posing exactly like The Rock, when Liv Morgan decides to get involved, but uh-oh, she is quickly dispatched by a shadow elbow by Ronda Rousey because everyone knows she's such a proficient striker.
Sarah Logan, the powerhouse of the team, splashing Natalya in the corner.
Naturally, Sarah Logan learned that the best way to get a cat off you is to splash water in its face. Also, I don't know what submission this was, but Sarah Logan just leveled up a bit in my book. Nettie crawls once again like a kitty and tags in Ronda, who ends up wrecking the Riot Squad until whatever the fuck this is happens.
Thanks for coming, Liv.
Oh, man!
Good night!
Ronda hits the Piper's Pit and is about to secure the victory when the man, Becky Lynch, appears in her tracksuit and knocks out Natty, causing the officials to do their best to stop these two women from tearing each other apart. For some reason, this official has the power to put Ronda Rousey in a calming/stun spell before the donut-filled Atlanta PA, according to Corey Graves at least, have to take Becky away to the back and remove her from the building because apparently being suspended still means you can buy a ticket and just go anyways. We come back from the commercial break though, with Ronda still in the ring as furious as can be, Bayley, demanding that Vince McMahon come out and reinstate Becky, that she can no longer handle this guerrilla warfare. So of course, when you ask for Vince, you get Stephanie. Having a history with Stephanie already, Ronda Rousey reveals her secret obsession with the Starsky and Hutch franchise.
Reinstate Becky for the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania. Go tell your daddy, just do it. Do it.
Ronda berates Stephanie, though, saying that she is not her worker, that she does not have to adhere to the way that they run things, and then she decides to have an MMA match with the mic.
Vince says that he's the man, and he makes all the tough decisions.
Steve Austin is here to give us a very muffled birthday celebration for Ric Flair, as we cut back to In the Ring with Jinder Mahal, who becomes the equivalent of a third grader, making fun of the popular kids for not having done anything cool, yet somehow still angry he wasn't invited to their birthday party. Anyone who got invited is gonna get beat up because he didn't care to go in there in the first place. No. Why is he wrestling weekly? There's nothing left to gain. Let him rest. Let him ride off. Good God, man. Why? Kurt Angle gets knocked down within the first 10 or 15 seconds of the match, while Corey Graves accidentally slips over the mic where he meant to text to his wife about the kids.
Oh, party of 3? Cool.
4, I'll stop by for a minute.
Isn't it so refreshing that out of the 257 people we have on the Raw roster, that we get to waste Kurt Angle's nostalgic factor by putting him in a match against someone who hasn't won legitimately in about 6 months? Gotta love the boost he's gonna get from this. We're then treated to about a 3-minute long chin lock as the commentators talk about their favorite fair rides or something.
Jinder is in complete control.
I'm saying I hope he keeps it that way.
Good, maybe we'll save a seat for you on that Ferris wheel around the corner from the arena when we're partying tonight.
It has been quite the night here tonight on Monday Night Raw.
Renee Young makes the mistake of revealing Kurt Angle's secret drug-related venture.
If you know anything about Kurt Angle, it's that he's always got a little bit on reserve.
Jinder Mahal taps out to the ankle lock in an 8-minute match that lasted about 7 minutes too long, cementing Kurt Angle's victory over someone who is definitely on the rise. Next up is a moment of bliss, and damn, girl, you looking almost good as Yugi in those leather pants. Alexa Bliss here to offer her services for the WrestleMania main event should she be needed. Attempts to interview Finn Balor about what he plans on doing with the Intercontinental Championship. But instead of actually progressing any storylines or enhancing the validity of the women's division, they're interrupted by, what a fucking shocker, Lio Rush, who's here to berate him once again. Finn takes this opportunity to activate the trap card, Switch, which switches Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush, forcing him into an Intercontinental Championship match with him right now, furthering the gap between them. Hey Finn, and Alexa Bliss really wanted to show you her stamp collection. How do you feel about that? Lio Rush does not want to take the risk of accepting this match, but within seconds it is made official by Alexa Bliss, because apparently when your pants reach a certain level of tightness, you just gain the power to do so. Lio Rush gets the most sad, unhyped entrance I've ever seen in my entire life, that ends up being interrupted by Finn Balor, who was already out there to begin with. And then we're treated to a hell of a match, honestly. Renee Young does her best to sell the importance of Lio Rush by comparing him to the Wii during its launch in 06.
Vince doing whatever it can take to change the tides here of this matchup. Lio Rush has just been in total demand.
Lio Rush hits a very nice Hurricane Rana, almost picking up a pinfall. Then Finn Balor decides to cheat and use a fucking brainbuster, DQing him from the match because he died, even though it was actually just a coup de grace and he won clean. The Descending Ascenders are backstage getting screen time for the first time in months, while Connor sits there with his very large nipples attempting to actually make fun of someone else's body size. That being Otis from Heavy Machinery, of course, who shows up very unsatisfied with the list of items they had at the buffet at the hotel he was staying at. Hey Otis, this breakfast sandwich has egg and sausage. What else does it need? Cheese! Hey Otis, what's Walter Shoptack's favorite weapon of choice? Hey Otis, the Ascension were actually trying to make fun of you. What are you gonna do about it?
Cocoon Punch!
Bobby Lashley is seen backstage giving Lio his weekly fatherly scolding as he prepares for his match with Braun Strowman, which isn't allowed to take place, of course, because the ring has a sign on it that says only can handle so much beef. So instead, they just start brawling, which leads to Bobby Lashley getting ran over by the Braun one himself. He barely touches Lio Rush, though, because he knows that the hype man has so many lawyers on retainer. Charlie Breeze is backstage with Seth Rollins, who is ever so happy about his brother being back from leukemia. And while there's not much to speak of, Seth Rollins did promise that he will get drunk as hell, as Charlie's chest reaches maximum you fucking wish mode. Whoever the fuck this is shows up in a limo holding an old slab of stone that looks suspiciously like Ric Flair. A slab of stone that manages to woo about 8 times before even leaving the parking lot. Corey Graves, he's obviously too fast and needs to slow down.
H warned her last week that she would be arrested here tonight.
She was handcuffed.
Dean Ambrose gets a jobber entrance because he definitely isn't a former WWE champion, when Renee Young decides that simply existing in the city of Atlanta is an excuse enough to act white girl wasted.
A guy with a rap sheet a mile long.
Protect your neck.
When did you become a rapper?
I'm in Atlanta. What do you expect?
Is that racist or just stupid? Drew McIntyre heads down to the ring and is immediately assaulted by Dean Ambrose, causing this no DQ match to start. When Dean Ambrose reveals his most devastating tactic yet, a second leather belt, surely Drew McIntyre will have nothing to defend against this tactic. Renee Young, she might need some Adderall.
His mind. This is just another look at that.
Look at him.
More lashings take place than at a showing in Israel as Dean Ambrose reenacts the time that he asked Vince McMahon to be WWE Champion in 2016 for a little while.
It's Ambrose's turn to take it out on McIntyre. And look at Ambrose go.
Look at this.
Elias appears angry after Dean interrupted earlier in the night because he's definitely the only person to ever do that. Laying him out with a guitar shot to the back and a Claymore kick to soon follow after, giving him the 3 count to that motherfucker Drew. So we moved up from a little over 2 minutes to a little over 6 minutes? Maybe that'll work. Maybe? Corbin and Bobby come out for scraps, making Elias so happy to be able to join the Boy Scouts. Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns head out to the ring to save them for the Trio D Dangers, because that leukemia angle never happened and Dean Ambrose never turned heel on them. Managing to lay out all 3 members with about 5 Superman punches and a spear meant for a kid at the playground. And then they just walk away and leave Dean Ambrose laying in the middle of the ring without saying anything at all. So, cool? Hooray! The new WWE Tag Team Women's Champions are here, so let's celebrate with a singles match. Nia Jax comes out and immediately wrecks the wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man because it cheated on her with the mascot from Big Boy for the singles match against Bayley. A match leading toward the event at Fastlane where they will challenge Bayley and Sasha for the Tag Team Championships because they earned that right. Earned it by interrupting their promo last week for about 12 seconds. Early on in the match, the Huggable One shocks the world by hitting Nia with a hip toss. How do you may ask? By using the momentum from the most well-protected and well-kept secret in all of WWE, Bayley's booty. Bayley decides that midway through the match is a good time to do a rain dance, which upsets Nia because she was recently kicked out of an Indian casino for leg dropping a slot machine, who commits a hit and run, leaving Bayley knocked out in the middle of the ring, flat on her back. The Care Bear of the WWE honestly dominates Nia for much of this match, which funnily enough kind of happens every time these two square off, and she picks up the victory with the Macho Man elbow drop. Oh buddy, the time has come for Ric Flair's 70th birthday celebration, and Renee Young she just wants to be included.
Ric Flair.
What a cake. You got your robes ready? No?
Braun Strowman is way too happy to be out here for a man of his stature when a ghostly figure that dances quite like HBK comes out and seems to be lost and cannot find his way. Followed by the steamboat that may or may not be powered by the dragon itself, coming out giving Seth Rollins a chop so brutal that it was later reported he will be missing the WrestleMania main event from injury. That's what happens when you challenge a dragon, Seth. They tend to burn you down. Kurt Angle comes out because he's definitely good friends with the McMahons and definitely has had more than maybe 3 matches in the history of WWE with Ric Flair, followed by the icon of the WCW himself, Sting. Now, my nostalgic boner is about to hit fever pitch as we're treated to a nice promotional package showing the career of the legendary Ric Flair himself. Triple H calls out the birthday boy, but unfortunately for him, Alzheimer's is starting to set in and Rick gets lost backstage. Oh, strike that. We cut backstage to where Batista is dragging a cameraman to Ric Flair's room, making sure we get an up-close and personal view of him being dragged out into the hallway completely unconscious. Now, some of you may be concerned for Ric Flair's health, and that's okay, but don't you worry, folks. It was later revealed that Rick's ultimate birthday present was to be involved in a storyline, so no matter how much pain he may be in, you can tell he fucking loves it. Well, that's it for this week's rundown. I want to thank you all for watching. Tune in next week while I attempt to attack my friend for having leukemia and then act like everything's fine a few months later. And of course, this has been the man from Earth with all the girth, telling you to be the character you know you're worth. Later, broyos. The Revival lose. They lose. Attempts to interview Finn Balor about Jesus Christ. But instead of actually progressing any storylines or enhancing the Lio Rush gets the most sad, unhyped entrance I've ever seen in my entire life. That's onomastically. He barely touches Lio Rush though because he knows that the hype man has so many retainers. Laying him out with a